everyone. Welcome to How'd You Get So Sweet, where we put space for Black women to share their stories, their joy, their rest, their resilience, and all the ways they cultivate sweetness in their lives. Today, I'm really excited. I feel like I say this at every episode, okay, but let me clarify here. The guests that have come on the show for this season 1 have been a beautiful combination of people I've worked with, people I know from current Rakita to Rakita 1.0 family. And so I'm excited for this one because our guest today has known me for a good little chunk of time, okay? So I'm really excited to introduce my dear kindred spirit friend, Natalie. Hey, girl. Hi. Welcome. First of all, I want to say thank you. I'm probably going to say thank you again 50 million more times, but thank you for saying yes to joining one of my crazy ideas, and for saying yes to yourself and sharing your story. So,
Sure.
as we jump in, tell the people about yourself.
Just turned 42. I'm brand new.
Okay, happy
Feeling
birthday.
brand new. Thank you. Thank you. Feeling gratitude. I think that's been such a huge part of how I'm shaping my life going forward. And so I was just talking to somebody and I was like, yeah, I went to Mexico and I left Mexico with such a sense of like gratitude of just everything. Like I'm appreciating the warmth that I just had. I appreciate how I came back and it's not super, super cold, but I still appreciate the cold because it makes me appreciate the warmth. Like it's all full circle.
On gratitude, which is beautiful because we talk about this with living a sweet life, right? Like every day is not sweet in the sense of ease and happy sunshine, but gratitude is in tandem with sweetness, right? Because sweetness, even a little bit of it, can show up in the things that make us feel uncomfortable, the things that, maybe a little bit of cold, but I'm grateful because if I can feel the cold in my bones, one, I'm alive. Thank you for that.
Right.
And two, I remember when the cold hits my face, I remember what it's like when the sun hit my face, and I'm grateful.
Yes, indeed. Like it makes you, it gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, again, welcome. And we're talking about something today that is really fresh for me. And I can't imagine anyone else that I want to have this conversation with because someone said to me one day, I hate to welcome you to this club, but welcome to this club. And that is the club of losing a parent, losing a mom.
And it's like a weird rite of passage.
Yeah.
Because every single, especially women, I don't know if men do it as much as we do because I think we have a different sense of sisterhood. But every woman that I've met has had at least one person be like, this is not the club I would ever want you to be in, but child, we here.
Yeah, here we
And
are.
in some way, we all say that. Like, and then I'm pretty sure I said that to somebody who lost their mom after me. And it was just kind of like we pass it on. Yeah. It's very weird.
Yeah, weird is a great word for it. I'm still processing, right? My mom passed in December, so it's still really fresh.
Yeah.
And I think this is very similar for you. We were with our moms leading up to it. And it's one of the things where it's like, you're never really prepared.
Yeah.
And there's this like, the presence or the lack of presence is very clear for me, right? Like even my mom and I lived in 2 different states, but even now, right, the lack of her presence, I feel it. Like I feel it to my core.
Their energy takes up so much space that we don't even account for.
Yeah.
Like I think because I went through a period where I was writing a lot of like poetry. I was trying to get it out. I was trying to stay afloat. And I think I brought it up in therapy too. And I said, the world is so quiet.
Ooh, yes.
It is so quiet. Like even when people are talking, like because she's not here to have that banter or be that support or get on my nerves. Like it's so quiet. Yeah. It's like an eerie feeling.
Yeah. That's That is a really beautiful way of putting it.
Yeah. Because she, like, especially with parents that you are close to, or if they have had any sort of an illness leading up to, and it's almost like a countdown, you unknowingly get into this space of like, oh, did I talk to my mom today? Oh, did I check on her? And so I went through months at work where I would panic.
Mm,
I
yeah.
would randomly panic. I was like, oh my God, I didn't call. And then I was like, oh, I can't. I would kind of be in a neutral place and my whole attitude would just drop. And it went like that for months.
Yeah.
So when people would ask me, like, well, how are you doing? I'm struggling. My chest hurt.
Yeah, I've been trying to make it a point to not say I'm okay. You know, when people say, "Oh, how are
Yeah.
you doing?" Right? Because the truth of the matter is, like, I'm not okay. Right?
Yeah.
I'm moving through the world as I'm supposed to, but I'm not okay. I think I have to tell myself at least, at minimum, 3 times a day, "Yo, my mom died." Like, right, my mom died. You know, which
Yeah.
is a wild thing to have to say to remind yourself because I was there.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I have an iPhone, so you have your little favorite contacts. My mom is still number one at the top.
Mhm.
She ain't coming out.
Mhm.
She gonna stay there.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
gonna stay there.
Yeah.
And so I think that I went through a period of like people would ask me if I was, how am I doing? And I would be like, oh, I'm okay. And then I started to change it based on who was asking.
Mhm.
So I became really conscious of the fact that some people are asking, but they don't have the space for the answer that I really want to give. So I'm okay. We don't even have to do this. I'm okay. Now, if somebody else asks me, baby, I'm barely making it. I'm barely making it. I'm surviving. I'm struggling. I am actively healing.
I like that you said you're actively healing. What
I
does
am
that look
actively
like for
healing.
you?
It looks like good days and bad days. It's some days her memory fills me with so much love and light that I almost can't even hold it. And then some days a memory will trigger and I will want to turn off all lights and cry. And so, we're not having a good healing day. That won't feel just as fresh as if it happened yesterday. And that is the thing with grief, is that you don't know how it's gonna hit. Like, I guess before I sent this one, I was kind of looking and I didn't even realize how many different like little snippets and poems that I wrote just surrounding grief and managing grief and trying to get through the day. In another one, I wrote something along the lines of, I'm just tiptoeing through my day so that I don't wake the grief up. Like, I am like, don't wake, baby, don't wake it up. And I didn't, even reading it, I was like, damn, and that's really how it feels. Like, you're trying to be really careful. I don't want to, like, I would drive so I wouldn't have to pass Largo High School.
Mhm.
Because I worked at the Target. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go this way and I'm going to come back around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go around. Just little things that can trigger. Along the way, I had this like random idea because I was like, I don't want to be sad forever. Nobody likes a sad girl. Like, and don't be a sad empath. Then the air around you is thick. It's thick with sadness. It touches people it shouldn't touch. I don't want to be responsible for that. How do I combat this? Joy. So I went through a period. I was eating joy up with a spoon. Anything that I thought would give me any ounce of joy, whether it was hanging out with my niece or hanging out with my sister or hanging out with my friends, going and having tacos with my dad. I don't care what it was. If I knew for sure it was going to bring me any sort of peace or have me laughing or smiling, I'm on it. I'll lose sleep for joy.
Okay, come on,
And
losing sleep for joy.
I'll lose sleep for joy. Because if I can store up all that good in me, if I can put as many good memories in my body, in my mind, in my heart, then when those grief moments hit, when something else happens and it kind of knocks me a little off my platform, it doesn't hurt as bad. It doesn't last as long because I have a little extra cushion of like, well, we had some good in here though.
Yeah. Created the
So that,
spaciousnness for it.
yeah,
Yeah. I love
it
that.
creates that balance.
I love that. In one of our very first episodes, I was talking with a friend named Marlena, and we were talking about joy and grief and the movie Inside Out, right? The brilliance behind it and how well it was written, because putting a person or personality, right? Like, don't wake joy or don't wake grief, right? And so one of the things we talked about was allowing ourselves the space, right, to feel whatever it is we're feeling, or to create some spaciousness so that it can move through you faster. Which is it sounds like that's what you've been doing, right? Like, I have this joy to fill up my memory bank, right? So when I am feeling a little low or grief is starting to wake up a little bit, the spaciousness allows me, one, to feel it and let it move through me in a way that doesn't consume us.
Yeah.
Because I think that's something that happens a lot to people. It's like grief can consume your entire being at the most random times.
And I was talking to my dad about it, and shout out to him, because we be having the greatest conversations about every single thing. But I was talking to him, and I was like, I said, I have noticed it more in the Black community than any other community, but we hold on to death so bad. My God, it's like a life raft. Like, there's so many people with praying hands and death days tattooed on them. Or when they go to make Facebook posts, it's almost always about, it's been 20 years since such and such passed. Like, I don't want to remember that shit.
Yeah.
I really do not. I can't. And like, don't have lost a whole bunch of people. Then you have all these dates.
Yeah.
That connect to this negative time of your life, this loss, this heartache, and you can't even move through your year. Because, well, if somebody passed in December and you trying to get through it, and then their birthday hits and you're sad on their birthday, and then my mom passed in March and then her birthday in June, so now I'm sad about that, and then somebody else passed in July. Like, you're sad all year. I was like, we can't do this.
Yeah. At least not in the way that we have been doing it.
Yeah.
I have another friend, hey Jamila, shout out to you, girl, who she started as really a mentor, and then a colleague. She's been a roommate. She's been a dear friend. She lost her father. And one of the things I thought was so beautiful, when he passed, she made a post on Facebook. And the post was highlighting all of his great accomplishments, who he was. It had like cute little quirky things about him. And I thought that was so beautiful, because it shifted it a bit from like oh, they're gone, I'm so sad, to like, I want to celebrate this. And so she was really a big inspiration to how I had decided to share about my. First of all, I didn't really want to even post anything on social media. Social media, I got a love-hate relationship with it, right?
Yeah.
But I knew there were people that knew her and needed to know and all of those things. But the idea around death, shifting it just a little bit from this sad, heavy thing to like a celebration of life. It doesn't alleviate the pain and the loss that we feel by any means. But I think that when we can celebrate, it feels different in the body, right? And so dance parties, the music piece. That's why I love Black folk, okay? Because we know, do we have some things that we need to tweak a little bit and lighten up a little bit? Yes. But listen, okay, we know how to celebrate life. We know how to have a good time with it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, because you're right. Death can be really heavy. And that back-to-back thing, you got the holidays, then you got their birthdays, then you got anniversaries. And if we're always looking at it in this space of, no, this sadness that is coming, I think it makes it much harder to heal, and it sits in your body.
It does. Like, it hasn't been that long, because I lost my mom in December too, but I think I just hit year 3. First of all, I'm like, damn, 3 years, like, that's crazy. It sounds short and long at the same time.
Yeah.
But I think the first year I don't remember. I don't remember much. So I've discussed that in therapy. I was on autopilot. Second year, as it approached like her around the time of her death, and then like she passed in December, her birthday's in January, my birthday's in February. So I did start to feel sadness. And when I knew that that's kind of how that was gonna go, I went to my dad and said, hey, like, I don't ever want to get so sad and so down about things with mom and really honestly my stepmom, because my mom and stepmom passed the same year. And I was like, hey, I don't ever want to just not celebrate myself because I know that they would have wanted me to. So I said, don't ever let me not celebrate my birthday. I don't care what we do. Just make sure I do something. And so that's what he been doing.
Yeah.
Like every year for my birthday, we go somewhere. We
Shout
go on a
out,
trip.
Dad. Listen,
Dad A1. Dad is A1.
Okay. Good
We just
job.
went to Mexico. Last year we went on a cruise. I think the year before that we went to Puerto Rico. I mean, he had a good time anyway.
Yeah.
We didn't even have to catch no flight for us to have a good time, but he liked to travel anyway, so it's a good excuse for him.
Listen, your dad and my dad should be friends, okay? Because he sounds like my dad. A good time, loves to travel.
He's great. And so shout out to him for really like being so supportive in that manner, because it gives me something to look forward to. And then it kind of gives me a chance to use my birthday as a time to like refresh and start over right on the heels of a moment where I would typically be really, really down. Yeah. So I'm appreciative, but I think this might have been the first year where I didn't go into it with that same kind of sadness, which I almost felt guilty for. I was like, damn, ain't I supposed to be sad?
No, you are not. But you are not supposed to be sad. You are supposed to feel it, but you're not supposed to be sad. And like you said, both moms would not want you to be in a space that is nothing short of the happiness and the sweetness that you deserve.
Right. I know my mom would be like,
right, exactly.
Take pictures. Send me pictures. Yes, ma'am.
Would you say that moment where you told your dad to not ever let you not celebrate your birthday, would you say that was the moment that you would coin really honoring joy as a form of resistance? Or was there another moment that you can remember where you were like, you know what? I'm choosing joy.
I think that was a pivotal moment of like, this how we gonna do things. This gonna be the energy. Because I was doing small things leading up to that. Like, okay, I really want to do XYZ and I'm going to do it. All right, I want to do XYZ and I'm going to do it. Yeah. Like, went and started my half sleeve. So I was just doing things. Also, just to be completely honest, it was a lot easier to lean into joy because I did have a little insurance money. So I was like, well,
what can we get into now?
If I want to buy these sneakers for joy. But I would have found other ways. If I didn't have that extra cushion, I would have found other things to do. Because now, of course, money is a little different. I'm back to being a regular girl. I done bought a house.
Listen, first of all,
the rest of everything.
Pause, because you are not a regular girl, nor have you ever been a regular girl. So we're going to strike that from the record. Second, congratulations on being an adult and getting you a house, girl.
Thank you.
Adult things.
Some days I'll be like, yes, I'm a homeowner. And other days I'll be like, golly, where is the maintenance man?
That's real.
Like when people be like, why is rent so high? Because you can call somebody to fix it.
Yeah.
That's why.
Exactly.
That's why.
Yeah, that's real.
There's something breaking here, I'm on YouTube. I am making phone calls and anybody knows fix this thing? It's a lot. But I'm grateful because I needed the space, and that's stuff in here is like the next part of my journey with grief and like things with my mom and stuff like that. So it is what it is.
What would you tell someone who may be in the thick of it right now with their grief? What would be the piece of advice you give them to find that joy?
Number one foot in front of the other. I don't care if you got to tiptoe, if you got to put one toe in front of the other, especially for my anxiety girlies. Everyday life seems that much heavier with grief on the plate. And so you really have to take one thing at a time. I can do this one thing. I can do this one thing right now. And once I do this one thing and complete this one task, I'll go to the next thing. And giving yourself that kind of space and that kind of grace to just, at this point, you're not going to ever be able to do it all like you could before. And the you that you were no longer exists. Like, you have to get to know yourself all over again. You will not look at life the same. You will not look at love the same. You won't look at your friends the same. And that can be difficult. That can be a difficult journey of having to grieve and heal and then also start from scratch with yourself. Um, like I realize I don't approach dating the same.
How so?
Because
How does that? What does that look like for you now?
I had therapy today, so I should be good. Like I do not want to cry. Especially if you had a super close relationship with that parent, or even if it's not a parent, if it's anybody that you were super, super close to and you have lost a great love. And now you have to go out and try to find it, not that same love, but love in general in another person who may not know what it's like to have that kind of loss. And they don't approach time the same way. Like, and I keep telling people, I was like, time is the highest form of currency. And when you realize you have run out of time with somebody that is so important to you, the clock don't tick the same. People be dragging their feet and you be looking at them like, we don't have time. We don't have the time you think we you think we got tomorrow. We barely got today. And so it's hard. It's hard in dating. And then you still have to be careful because you don't want to trauma bond. It's a balance. Like, I need you to have understood loss and heal from it, but I don't want to trauma bond with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to, we don't have to talk about this all the time. And I literally had to not, like, I had to kind of let somebody go for that reason. And he was like, but we understand each other. Like, we understand loss. I'm like, that's literally the only thing we have in common. I need you to, sir,
Say that.
find somebody else.
Yeah, you're not my person, and I'm not yours.
You're not my person. I was like, sir, I don't even think you like me. It's okay. And it's okay. I don't like you either.
Which is okay. We can just agree to disagree and keep it moving.
I was like, and it's okay. So yeah, it's a very complex feeling getting through dating and trying to find that alignment. And so this year, especially, or coming out of last year and into this year, like, that's kind of the piece of my healing and like going through therapy and really digging into that, because I started to realize I had this very cynical view of like, y'all don't understand. Like, whenever something would go wrong, I'm like, it's because they don't understand. Yeah. But then I don't actually want you to understand. I don't want you to have gone through this loss. So
yeah, I never thought about it that way. I mean, I totally understand your perspective changes, right? Like how you look at life, how you look at the world. I didn't think about it in that when you niche down to it, love is one of those things that changes as well. Ooh, now I got something to talk to my therapist about tomorrow. She'll be so happy.
Yeah, because I did have moments where I was sitting with myself a lot. So as much as I was chasing joy, I was just as equally chasing my solitude. So I would have my moments where I was just really kind of sitting, and I'd be watching TV, but I'd be just thinking about things, processing conversations, thinking like, well, why do I not like this person? Or why do I not have as much patience as I used to have? And so I kept like hitting layers and hitting layers. And I was like, that's what it is. Like, these people out here have no idea how fragile life is, what it's like to lose somebody that was really in your corner like that, to even sit with them as the temperature in their body changes.
Yeah.
It is a lot. Yeah. And again, that's not something I would want anybody to really feel. No. But it changes your perspective of things. I think that sometimes darker days look even darker than they really are. Sunny days are blindingly bright. I think I even take a lot more pictures of like the sky and flowers and stuff like that. I take far less pictures of myself now than I did before. I think I took any of the pictures that I have, for the most part, from my birthday were taken by like my nephew or my dad or whoever. But most of the other pictures I took was like of everything around me. I just wanted to keep capturing all of these moments. Yeah. Like, I even took a picture, like a profile picture of my brother. He's standing on a balcony, kind of just looking out. And even with that, like, I was grateful. I even sat there and I told him, we were sitting on the balcony together. And I was like, I said, you the best birthday gift I could ever have. I was like, and I mean that. Like, I was like, I'm glad that we're here, but like, I don't really need for us to do anything, because like right after the year mark of losing my mom, my brother had a major stroke. So he was able to fly to Mexico. He still has limited mobility, but he was taking his time, and we just was going to be patient, because I'm going to wait here or I'm going to walk really slow with you, one of the two. But just having him there was a blessing. And I just kept being like, I kept telling him, like, I'm so glad that you're here. Like, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that we having this moment. I'm so glad that we have this time. And that's now the level of joy that I'm chasing. with people.
Yes, I love that. I like to ask permission before I just be interjecting, but may I offer just one piece of advice is not the word, but
Sure.
let's say advice
Offer me
because
a
I don't
slice
know.
of cake. Go ahead and offer me a slice of cake.
Yes, let me offer you some cake, girl. What kind of cake you like? What's your favorite flavor? Because this is about to be sweet.
Yellow cake with chocolate icing.
Yo, it's so good. Okay, great. I wonder if that's because I'm going down the wrong path here. I'm a Taurus, so we can talk about food, but this is not that. My piece of cake to you, right, is I totally hear about taking pictures of the world around us, the people that we love, and I heard you say, but you don't take a lot of pictures of yourself. And you are a part of the story. You are a part of the moment as well. And so
you're right.
put yourself in the picture from time
I
to
will
time.
say I've gotten better.
Okay.
Initially, like when I look back, there's like a chunk through my phone where you see me taking pictures, but I'm not posting them. And it was because I felt like I looked so sad still. Like, I don't think other people would necessarily notice, but I noticed. And then I would like look at old pictures of me and I would look at like while mom was alive versus now that mom's not here. And to me, I just look so different.
Yeah. Because you are
And so that was
different.
hard. And I am.
You are different.
And I am.
I think it's also different when it's mother daughter, right? Like when on the spiritual side of this, some people, if you are not into really understanding like spirit, or even if you are, right, the magnitude of what it means for a mother to pass, for a daughter to pass, for a mother and daughter to connect, right? Like that is such a big thing on a level that we really barely understand, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's also why daughters feel the energy different when mom leaves this plane. Because we are all connected. We are all, meaning you and your mother, are connected in a way that nobody else will ever come close to, right? That was your first home.
Yeah.
Those were the first sounds you heard, the first smells, the first taste came from her. And so I love thinking about it in that sense, because it is heavy, but I think it is such a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. It is.
When you really look at it like, oh my God, like how beautiful, how powerful, how magical it is that nobody is going to have that kind of connection with your mama but you.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're going to look different because you are different.
Yeah. And it's something that I have had to work on. So I do take more pictures than I did and I will post. And then sometimes, and this again, I think this is a post grief thing. I'll take pictures of myself and I'll be like, that's a cute picture. Feeling cute. Might post later. Later does not come.
Which is fine because sometimes the pictures is just for you, right? Like it don't got to be for nobody else.
Sometimes it's like that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's funny because I've done 2 now, but I had a boudoir shoot.
I know, honey. I saw.
But the background is it was supposed to happen the week my mom passed. And I hit the girl up. I said, look, I'm gonna have to postpone. Like, I said, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know, I don't know what to do. I was like, girl, I don't know whether I'm coming or going. So I know for sure I'm not going to be able to feel sexy in lingerie anywhere. And I didn't do that photo shoot till May of last year. So it took over 2 years for me to and I still tried to I was like, can I get my money back? And she was like, girl, no. Pick out some lingerie.
And do it, yeah.
Because we cool, like me and her, we cool. We're not friends, but we're cool. And she was like, no, you cannot reschedule. It's been too much. And she's like, you can't cancel. You can't get your money back. It's been too much time.
Her for encouraging you, right? Small miracles. Yes. Small miracles happen through people. And so that was an encouragement, all in divine timing. You're absolutely beautiful.
I definitely had a moment while I was there and getting into my, my mode. And in my mind, I was like, I know my mama is probably somewhere like, girl, why? She used to be so bothered. She would be like, why? Her favorite thing would be like, I saw your Facebook post. I bet you did. We friends on Facebook. You would always be there. But it's stuff like that. Like, even those little disapproving conversations crack me up.
Yeah. Man. Well, one, thank you for having this conversation with me because,
For sure.
it's not easy.
It's not. I'm glad that I'm even in a place where I only had that little moment of like, ooh, like before, like there's some days where I can have this conversation and not really make it through. Like I think Super Bowl weekend, I have another friend who recently lost her mom and she was, present at the time of death and things like that. And our situations were so similar. Like I didn't even realize, like I knew kind of that they were, but I didn't realize how similar they were. And so we were just kind of sitting and talking, and we're both like crying together. And that's literally the first time in our friendship, and we've been friends for a long time. That's the first time we ever sat and like cried together. And I was like, did we just unlock a new level of friendship?
Yes,
It
yes, you
seems
did.
like I think we did. But even in aside from chasing joy and really staying in a space of gratitude, because that's also been a huge help. Like I had a moment where I thought, I'm glad that I can understand. Like I'm glad I can be there for my friend and really understand.
Yeah. And that you had the capacity to do that, right? Because I
Yeah.
think sometimes we don't have the capacity or we'll try to push through because we want to have the capacity, right? And so being
Mhm.
realistic with ourselves and being able to have that is also a testament to your healing and the
Yeah.
spaciousness that you're creating.
Yeah. Cause I wish that I would have had somebody that really, really understood to kind of hold my hand through some of the things or just kind of be like, hey girl. And then we kind of talk about it and we understand. Like my sister understands kind of, but we approach grief and all of that in a very
Different
different
way.
way.
Yeah.
Like I'm the emotional baby. I'm the Pisces empath. I feel everything. I feel this country, this earth. I feel the earth dimensions over. She just be like, girl, that's too many feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. That was one of the harder lessons for me to remind myself about is that everybody processes grief differently.
Uh,
Because I used to get so annoyed. I would be like, "What?" I'm not gonna say
you
too
look fine.
right. Like I'm not gonna say too much because whoever is they listening, I don't want them to be like, "She talking about me." But it was challenging, and then there was a moment that I just had that little switch of like, you know what? This isn't about them. It's not about you. It's about being here with your mom. And people are gonna process how they process. They ain't got nothing to do with you.
And then everybody's relationships are different.
Different, yeah.
My sister's relationship with my mom was different than the one I had with her. We 12 years apart.
I didn't realize you all were such that was such a large age gap.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Yeah.
So she done already had loss and healed and moved on, and so I'm not gonna say it was not to say that it was business as usual, but I think that she had her moment to process it.
Yeah.
And then she took care of a lot of like the business stuff that I didn't have the space or the time for. Because it's like, well, you work from home, so you at least got your laptop open.
Yeah.
Like, baby, I'm back at work and I'm running all over the place. Which then kind of, I don't know if I can segue into radical rest, but like that's kind of where that need came from was because I looked up and realized that I had not really taken off time to really sit still.
Mhm.
I got a week of bereavement from work, but we had to get stuff out of my mom's condo and do this, and we were all
Moving.
over the place. We were packing and cleaning, and it was business as usual.
Mhm.
And then I was back at work struggling and struggling and struggling, and then got into a relationship like a dummy.
Not like a dummy. Lessons learned. It served its purpose at the time.
It did not. That man ain't served not their purpose. All right, all right, all right. He got me out the house.
Like, see, there was something, okay? There was a little sweetness there.
So I'm at work, just struggle, bus, struggling with grief. Work was just
Ooh,
too much.
all
I'm
that
just like,
energy.
it was too much. But no, but I think I definitely got my work ethic from my mom. And so, well, from my mom and my dad. And so my way to kind of combat grief during the day when I couldn't necessarily lean on finding joy was work, work, work. I'm gonna
Mm.
work as hard as I can. I'm gonna do the best job I can. I'm gonna be the best leader I can be. what I started noticing was I am not healing. And I'm wearing myself down. And then that job, then people gonna be there or they not.
Right.
So I started realizing that you'll thank me once, but you'll berate me 5 times. Like you'll thank me for, oh, thank you, you did such a good job. But like if I mess up, I don't hear the end of it. You keep bringing that shit up. I'm about to lose it. So I think I had one final day like that. This was after having to, dealing with grief, and then I ended up at a physical therapist, and I'm trying to heal my body and heal my mind and heal my heart. And I ain't got space for this job. I don't. So I looked up that paperwork. I went on leave of absence. I stuck it out. I think I gave them an extra week because there was a girl on maternity leave. I was like, I'll give you an extra week or two. And then I'm out. Barely made it. Like, I think by the last week, I was crying almost every day about something, anything. The sky was gray. There was a pothole somewhere. The tree is dying. Like anything.
Yes, because your body and your spirit was like, girl, we don't have no more space.
We out of gas.
Okay? You try to make it to the gas station.
Barely.
The signal been on that said empty.
Yes.
Which, shout out to the body and gratitude to the body, because it will tap you gently at first and be like, hey, and then it'll start shaking you, and then it will shove you, and then it will put you on your ass if you do not listen.
By the end of it, I felt like if my body had stepped outside and grabbed the Fred Flintstone club, it had clubbed me over the head. And like, so, okay, cool. Now you're asleep.
Yep.
Now you're going to lay down. I told you.
Yep. I try to give you an option to taking your own nap, girl.
I told you. So I went on a leave of absence for work under mental health. Went and immediately found a therapist. I called a homegirl of mine who is a therapist, and she was like, well, I can't, be your therapist because for obvious reasons, but I can recommend some people for you. So she gave me a list of people. I made phone calls that day. I found a really good therapist that kind of got me on the right foot. And then she went on maternity leave, so I had to get a substitute therapist. But I feel like that second therapist is really a better fit in terms of like pushing me a little more and challenging me a little more the way I need. Like I needed grace coming, getting through that LOA and being at home and not working and really trying to regroup. I needed a lot of grace. And now I got a lot of work to do. Yeah. And that looked very different.
Yeah. So 2 things here, if y'all are listening, because I think sometimes people don't realize this as much, right? Like when it comes to your job, take a leave of absence. If you can, look into it, right? Like it's 2025. I'm specifically talking to Black women. Okay. Turn it up so you can hear this. We are no longer pushing ourselves to make it work. We might feel a little pain somewhere. I'm like, no, I'm going to push through. Oh, I'm a little tired, but I'll take a nap later, or I'll wait to do these. No, there is a way. There is always a way. And if you feel like there is not a way, ask for help, because I guarantee that you know somebody in your network, or they know somebody that can give you the information, the tools that you need to get what you need. We're not pushing through no more. We don't have to do that. And so I love that you said, I figured I got the paperwork together. I took that leave of absence. I went and found me a therapist. And the part 2 of that is sometimes in therapy, you have to pivot and go to a new therapist. Sometimes people don't want to do it because they're like, oh, I got to rebuild my relationship again. And but how am I going to find you the right one? It's okay. It is no hard feeling. Like the therapist totally understand. They ain't going to feel no type of way. I mean, they may. Depends on the therapist. But
and honestly, and I keep forgetting, I still need to email the previous therapist because she came back from maternity leave and she was like, hey, I just want you to come back from maternity leave. And I was like, hey, girl. And then we never scheduled anything and we didn't really talk. And I took some time to really think about whether I wanted to just dead stop where I was and then go back. And then again, sitting with myself and realizing I appreciate where the first therapist got me. I appreciate the time that she set aside for me and the words, and she has such a calming spirit. She's such a sweetheart. But I know that the therapist that I have now, she's not finna let me ice skate.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you need that.
I need that level of accountability. And hey, so we're gonna go back to that. Mm-hmm. Hey girl, I didn't miss that part. That's in my notes. So I'm gonna let you make it this week. But next week we're going back to these boundaries.
Yeah. Shout out to a good therapist that will push you a
Yeah.
little bit and knows the right time to push.
Yes.
Because that is a beautiful thing.
For sure. So now, I've become this. I feel like in my conversations with people, I am definitely an advocate for therapy, number one, for sitting that ass down, number two, and just for honoring yourself, sitting with yourself, being very self aware. Like, if we don't take care of ourselves in all facets, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, like, all these things are connected. So, if I'm not getting sleep, I start mentally getting a little crazy. If I'm stressed, it's going to show up in my body physically. Like, all of these things are connected, and we are not doing anybody any favors by pushing those things to the side, like, at
At
all.
all. That's real. It absolutely is all connected. Listen, I've been having hip issues since 2018. Every 6 weeks, I have to go to physical therapy, and it still wasn't getting better until finally, the end of last year, the doctor said, I think they've been focusing on the wrong thing because it's all connected. Your hip issues are connected to your back issues. I was
Yeah.
like, so wait a minute, you mean to tell me like the way the body, how everything, if you've ever gone to like acupuncture or anything like that, and they might touch on the left side, you're like, oh, I feel that on the right side. It's because it's all connected. And our body gives us the little signs before it gives us the big signs that something is going on. Spiritually, energetically, it shows up and don't let it get to the point where it shows up in your body physically.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's what disease is. It's dis-ease in the body. It's something energetically that has been going on for years, or months, or weeks, or whatever that we ignored, and now it turns into these more physical issues. We don't gotta live that way.
We don't. We sure don't.
So,
And I don't want to.
and I don't want to. Okay.
And I'm not gonna.
Why not? Listen, look. Don't you hate when people when they just repeat what you say, like it's there?
The African American experience of being echo. I love that for us.
Oh God, man, I love
But no,
us.
but for sure the back issues resonate with me because I ended up at physical therapy. Well, I ended up at the whatever these back doctor people is called, them people. So I got MRIs and all this stuff done because I started I was having numbness in my leg for a while. Not enough for me to not be able to walk, but it was like an extended period of time. Well, then it started hurting. So then I'm all stressed out because I'm like, I hope it's not a blood clot. I'm stressed. Now my anxiety high. So I finally get to the doctor and they're running all sorts of tests and they're like, so we figured it out. Like, and they really kept asking me, they're like, so you're not in any pain? And I'm like, no. They're like, you have a pinched nerve in your back. I think they said it's between L4 and L5. And it is literally shutting off some of the feeling in my left leg.
Listen, we can talk about this forever. So I'm just going to say this piece of it. If you haven't yet, look into what that means energetically and spiritually.
Okay. I have not, and I will look into it.
Because you absolutely should.
I say physically, what I learned for me, and this might not work for everybody because, like, again, I'm not in any pain. So it's a little easier for me. But I started going to the gym. And I'm not a gym girly. So I started going to the gym, getting on the machines. I'm following all these Instagram accounts. So I'm doing the little hip abductor and adductor. And do you know that I started getting feeling better?
Yep. Yeah, because what you're doing,
after they just shot me up.
Yeah, because what you're doing is that pinched nerve. The more movement that you get, kind of relieves it. Spaciousness. Okay, we talk about spaciousness when it comes to grief. Spaciousness in your body. We could talk about this forever. Just saying.
Let me make some space.
Okay, you got to make space. Your left and your right side. Your left side represents your mother, your maternal side. Your right side represents masculine father side. So it makes total sense. You have issues on your left side. Listen. So that's another podcast episode for later.
I love the you didn't even say it, but I felt the mic drop.
That's gonna be listen, season 1 is about joy and resistance. Season 2 is about to be about all the spiritual and energetic findings for Black women.
Yes.
Anyway, that was a mic drop. Well, we've been doing this show and share and tell What will you be sharing with us today?
So it is one of the poems that I wrote right after my mom passed. So she passed at the very end of December, right before Christmas. So I wrote this one like right after New Year's Day, in 2022. It's called When Someone You Love Is Lost. And the premise of it is how we always say, oh, I just lost my grandmother, or I just lost my dad, or I just lost my mom. And I was sitting one day and like really thinking to myself, I was like, where the fuck, like, where did we get that from? And then I'm going down this rabbit hole and I'm like, well, if they're lost, like, where'd they go? Like, do we know where they went? There's a whole inner dialogue. And then, as I thought about it and I kind of put it into the poem towards the end, realizing that, again, like how we have to get to know ourselves all over again, we are actually the ones that are lost. We're the ones kind of going through the world and it looks very different because there's a piece that is no longer there. There's a person that's no longer there. The world looks different to us. How we experience it is different. How we feel in ourselves is different. And so I kind of go through the motions. It's a short poem, but I go through the motions of being like, no, I think it's us. We're the ones that are lost, and whoever is no longer here, they're fine. They're fine. They back to factory settings. The flesh is such a feeble thing. They're Gucci. But I'll read it. I'll read the first part of it. So when someone you love is lost, there's this complexity that tangles with grief. We say we lost someone we love, and I wonder who came up with that. What was the origin? I assume it's because we don't really know for sure 100% where they go. They are taken or they leave. They are lost somewhere in the cosmos to us. We look in the clouds for their smiles. We look in the faces of strangers for eyes to twinkle back. That's my little piece.
Thank you for sharing that. What we didn't say in the beginning is that Natalie is an amazing poet. And so when she decided to share something that she wrote, I was really excited. And thank you for sharing because it's a part of you, right? So as we wrap up this episode, I want to just first take a moment to honor our mothers, those that have lost parents. It's not an easy thing.
It is not at all. But if anybody, had that special bond with their mom or even their grandmothers, because I know there's plenty of people that were raised by their grandmothers, and that's still just as much of a blessing. That maternal bond, I think that energy carries through us. If we are given the gift of being mothers, being foster mothers, stepmothers, mothers in love, any type of thing like that, we carry that love and it just keeps going to the next generation. So it's another thing to be grateful for.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Well, friends, this beautiful, beautiful conversation wraps up season 1 of How'd You Get So Sweet. I'm so honored. This is the perfect way to wrap it up with my dear, dear friend, Natalie. And I hope you've enjoyed it. Share it with a friend. Share How'd You Get So Sweet with somebody. Replay some of the episodes if you'd like. Before we sign off, Natalie, is there anything else you want to share? How can people be in touch with you? What you got going on?
Peace. I wanted to be such a nerd and be like, peace, love, and hair grease. Anybody can follow me on, I would say the best way is really probably Instagram. I am pretty active on there, as energetic, of course, with my funky little spelling. INERGETIK, something like that.
We'll put the link in the description.
I was like, we'll put it at the bottom. Yeah. I don't be having to spell it out loud. But it looks like energetic.
Great. Well, friends, you heard it here. Connect with Natalie. And thank you. Until next time, may your days be filled with ease, joy, and just the right amount of sweetness. Peace.